بهره برداری امن از موبایل و اینترنت، زن، حقوق فردی و اجتماعی، سازوکارهای جلوگیری از نقض حقوق بشر، پویشی در مفهوم دموکراسی، مروری بر پایگیری نهادهای مدنی در ایران، اندیشه‌های نوین از حقوق کارگران، آموزش خبرنگاری، حقوق شهروندی امروز و محیط زیست. توانا، رایگان توانایی ما را به سمت انسان امروزین جهانی متمدن تازه می کند. برای شرکت در این کلاس ها به توانا.org بروید و با جیمیل مستعار ثبت نام کنید. از طریق فیسبوک، توییتر و شبکه یوتیوب می توانید آموزشکده توانا را دنبال کنید. توانا آموزشکده است برای جامعه مدنی ایران.
Hello and welcome. Warm greetings from Bosnia and Herzegovina. My name is Raهلا Zídiگ, and for the past 15 years I had been very active in development of civil society and civic education in my country. I worked as an executive director of the Center for Civic Education and Democracy and Human Rights, Sیویتاس, Bosnia and Herzegovina, which was founded in 1996, just following a very bloody war with a lot of atrocities in Bosnia and Herzegovina. The founder of our center was Center for Civic Education in Calabasas, California, with its executive director, Charles Quigley, and these people have been so brave that while there were still dangers in the streets of Sarajevo and other cities, they saw opportunity for civic education and meaningful cooperation of educators, especially in the fields of, bringing younger generations new knowledge and skills. So Civitas grew from 1996, where it was rather difficult to organize a joint training between teachers who belonged to three ethnic groups that were just, beginning their painful process of building peace and reconciliation. And some of the teachers from Republika Srpska had to come to the training in UN transporters, to now a wide network of teachers, coordinators, youth activists, youth alumni groups, and for the past 16 years, about 30,000 teachers in Bosnia and Herzegovina have been trained to teach in the spirit of democracy and human rights, but more importantly, the textbooks were developed, new teacher training programs, student activities, and Project Citizen, which is a practical part of civic education, has really become so popular that it is now part of the official curriculum in all three ethnic groups. My motivation to become an activist came from my son, Dennis. He participated in the Project Citizen, which is a practical part of civic education, and his teacher participated in a training which was held by American trainers in the beginning. So they were very eager to see if this new content and methodology can help motivate young people in our country. And sure, it did, because, I was a telecommunication engineer, very busy in, rebuilding our life and working to provide our family with the means. And I was very sad about the things that happened in my country, but like most people who lived under authoritarian or one-party regimes, you really did not see yourself as somebody who has the power to influence any kind of social change. So we were more active in the fields of voluntary work or in developing our family and friendship ties, but not much in the public arena. So then Dennis started to ask me, Mom, how does a bill become a law? And I'd think about it as Dennis, I don't have any idea. And then next day he comes and asks, Mom, how do you bring in changes to law in education? And I thought about it and I think, Dennis, I don't even know now with these new post-war cantons and entities, I don't even know how the country is set up. And he looked at me and said, you want to tell me that you consider yourself an intellectual and you don't even know who and how runs this country for you? And I was really puzzled by that question. I said, oh, okay, I'm very busy with my professional life. And then all of a sudden, I joined a group of parents who were also, in this project, and we started to learn about how the political decisions are made and how the laws are made and changes. And then, after 2 weeks, Dennis would say, can you set up for us a meeting with Mayor of Sarajevo? And I said, I don't know a Mayor of Sarajevo. I don't know who he is. In order to promote responsibility in my nation, first we wanted to explore this concept and explore it within the framework of our own actions, but also to be that a part of our education programs. So in terms of our own actions, we developed a systemic approach to civic education, so that we started with translation of these 4 concepts of democracy from the center's materials, but also we gathered a group of local experts to review these materials and see how they would best be implemented in the local context. And what does responsibility mean in Bosnia and Herzegovina and for Bosnia and Herzegovina people. And often we realize that instead of democratic concept of responsibility, which is something that you choose as an individual to honor or to be a part of, for us, responsibility in the nation which was not part of the free society for a long time was something which was given to us by others. So talking about responsibility to your family and your job and your country, and this is where we saw an opportunity for new generations to understand that the difference between free society and the authoritarian is that in a free democratic society you choose to restrict your own wishes and your own actions so that everybody would have equal rights. And that responsibility lies within you, and it's not just that you have to obey in a certain way, or you have to, obey laws and respect the rule of law, but and of course the political environment was also very complex, not only in the sense of nationalistic or national groups, but also in the complete mistrust of people, that they have any power, that they can do anything, because nobody listened to them. They had to be in the war because they were drafted on one side, or they had to defend their homes on the other. So people really felt powerless. And that is the generation of parents who are disillusioned, whose ideas of, communist society, equality, and welfare for everybody have fallen apart. So there were no ideals in which young people were raised. And we saw the opportunity and also responsibility to act so that our children can make better choices, and that we empower a younger generation with knowledge, because you do have to have knowledge about the political processes, but also about the concepts of democracy and how it functions. And with skills, because this is something that develops over time, and the schools and education has a role of letting young people develop these participatory skills, so that when they're adults and when they make those decisions, they know how to make them responsibly, how to be responsible citizens, which means that they know their rights and exercise their rights, but also understand that the other people, other members of society have equal rights, because we all want just society in which every individual is equally worth and has equal rights to develop their own full potentials. So this meant exploration of ideas. And of course, one course in civic education is not enough to do that. So we started looking for allies and looking for opportunities in which these ideas would be explored throughout the education. That's where I see my goals and objectives are, to bring this knowledge and skills to as many people as possible in Bosnia and Herzegovina, so that first young generations can learn the principles of democratic society and how they can stay informed and stay active in order to bring positive changes. And in order to have that, you really have to have educational programs for teachers and parents and communities, but it has to become a part of the system. And our goal was to introduce systemic changes in education by making civic education part of the official curriculum. And also to help reconciliation process in Bosnia and Herzegovina, because the political system after the war is very complicated. As many of you know, Bosnia and Herzegovina has suffered almost 4 years of terrible war, with hundreds of thousands of dead. And the parties were mainly separated by ethnicity, or to be more precise, by religious beliefs. So bringing the truth, what happened and who were the victims and all the atrocities that happened, is one important part of reconciliation process. But even more important is to have people understand that you have to go on. You cannot change the past. And you shouldn't put it behind you and forget. You should learn from it. But you have to move on. Young people have the right to live in a brighter country that has a future, that is not in a stalemate of accusations and bringing about the negative and the reminiscence of these war atrocities. But they have to build a better future for themselves, and in order to do that, you have to empower them. You have to teach them how to think critically. We had many supporters, but also many opponents. And our supporters were mainly young people, but also a lot of educators. Educators want to see the benefits to their students, most of them do. And they had seen that after the war, the schools have become something that nobody liked. Students didn't like going to schools, educators didn't like, teaching, because often the content and methodology were not adapted for the 21st century, and they felt powerless. So this new civic education program brought them new methodology and new ways to explore ideas. And some, administrators also saw the need for change, but because we have 14 ministries of education and pedagogical institutes in the country, and they all, no matter how small, make their own decisions, it was a difficult task of bringing everybody together and reaching a consensus of what civic education courses would be about. But students enjoyed Project Citizen competitions, and they worked throughout the year on their projects. And as they worked on their projects, they brought many improvements to their schools and their societies, so that they gain, assistance from their parents and from their community. So by the time the number of supporters grew, however, there were many opponents too. And they did not only come from the political elite that did not want to see responsible citizens questioning them all the time, but also from the traditionalists who were against these new, often foreign ideas, and they did not understand that there is nothing American or nothing foreign in these ideas, that questioning responsibility of leaders and also learning about the responsibilities and benefits of citizens in democracy is actually enshrined in all the holy books. In delivering our message, we had to go with all the means that are available to us at that time. So at the very beginning, we would use the training opportunities to invite media. We would try to get influential people to be on our panel of judges. We would bring TV crews to film Project Citizen, because that is certainly the most attractive part. Then later, as the number of civic education teachers grew, we had to develop our own newsletters or newspapers in order to address their needs, which is first to share their experiences with other civic education teachers, but also to bring them together and to be aware that they are part of a vast network and that many teachers are doing amazing things in their classrooms, so that the media became interested in their activities. And also, of course, in the last decade, we have turned a lot to social media networks using website, Facebook pages, and other, internet to both share the information that we wanted our users to share, but also to enable them to communicate between themselves. One important message was for general population, because they don't know what are these new methodologies and this new content. They even are not sure what to feel about the civil society, because unless you are close to people and you make sure that you listen to them and represent them, then you just become another elite or somebody else who wants to use the population for their own means. So it is very important, as you develop civil society in your country, to be very close to people and to listen to them and to listen to their worries, to listen to what they're afraid of, and to their aspirations. By bringing educators, young people, and their parents and community members together around these ideas of a free society, which is based on the universal concept of democracy, human rights, and freedom, we were able to do the work which was not just, creating informed and competent and committing citizens, but also to bring peace or to increase chances of peaceful conflict resolutions. So it is important to understand that by working together, working with other groups, you are building a wide coalition and also becoming agents of change. And for change to happen, it takes time, it takes careful planning, and also it takes a wide base. So my message for Iranian civil society is to be persistent, to try to form a wide coalition, but also to be very systemic, because once you are changing a structure of your society, you have to make sure that there is new scaffolding, new structure in place, and that is built on a solid foundations of a just and free society, and the people who are participating in your coalition understand the basic principles, and one of them is responsibility, that it is their responsibility to make for and advocate for equal rights and equal value of every individual in a free society. And I wish you the best of luck. Thank you.
بهره برداری امن از موبایل و اینترنت، زن، حقوق فردی و اجتماعی، سازوکارهای جلوگیری از نقض حقوق بشر، پویشی در مفهوم دموکراسی، مروری بر پایگیری نهادهای مدنی در ایران، اندیشه‌های نوین از حقوق کارگران، آموزش خبرنگاری، حقوق شهروندی امروز و محیط زیست. توانا، رایگان توانایی ما را به سمت انسان امروزین جهانی متمدن تازه می کند. برای شرکت در این کلاس ها به توانا.org بروید و با جیمیل مستعار ثبت نام کنید. از طریق فیسبوک، توییتر و شبکه یوتیوب می توانید آموزشکده توانا را دنبال کنید. توانا آموزشکده است برای جامعه مدنی ایران.